the dudes beat the devil. I can't. No, we can't be here, guys. Danny Phantom, I think that would be the same thing. Where it would be like 999 ghosts. They would all be like, okay, guys, just be cool. We won't get thermosed. And Casper, I think they would have all like, yeah, dude, come on, hang out with us. Anyway, so thank you for those questions. Moving on now to Serpent Talata, who asks, so favorite haunted mansion history. I guess if you want to go by haunted mansion history, I guess the whole thing that their Headmaster Gracie and all these partygoers are all dead and they're cursed to forever be part of this mansion. Something like that. Yeah, simple, but I like it. Alright. In the spirit of the ride, the haunted... Why do you keep saying haunted mansion, Serpent? It's haunted. I don't mean to spell check you, but you said it twice, so... Sorry, I had to bring that up. Alright. In the spirit of the ride, the haunted mansion, what other ride with horror thematic, that's horror thematic, would you like to be made? How about an actual ride, like, based on the thing, not like as an actual, like, scare show, like, I know they do this at Universal, of the, what the hell am I thinking of? Like an actual, like, walk-in haunted house, like an actual make it a ride of, I don't know, Alien vs. Predator? Yeah, do an actual AVP ride. Do that. Alright, so thank you for that question. Next question comes from... Oh wait, you've got one more question, sorry. Any opinion in the House of Mystery comics from Vertigo Comics? That's not really what we're talking about here. We're talking about the Haunted Mansion, so... I'm gonna have to skip that, Serpent, but yeah. Thank you for those questions, regardless, Serpent Talata, and moving on now to Darth Venom, who asks... what was the first question? How do the following characters react if they ever went to the mansion? Megatron, Starscream, Shockwave, Soundwave, Darth Vader, Darth Sidious, Mephisto, Lady Death, Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, Chucky, Thanos, and Trigon. Okay, in one big word, they wouldn't go because they would just probably blow up the mansion. Like, they would just be like, here's how it would go for everyone who goes to that mansion. The ghost would be like, "Boo, I'm a ghost!" No more mansion. End scene. Anyway. So, second question. Have you ever watched the Nostalgia Critics review of The Haunted Mansion? Yes, I have. I actually watched it recently, and he really hit the nail on the head of how bad it is. It really is not a great movie, guys. It is in no way a film masterpiece. And it was actually kind of a funny review. Anyway, thank you for those questions, Darth Venom. Moving on now to Action Fan 19. First question is, how many times do you think Jack Fenton has looked around the mansion thinking the ghosts are real? Oh, I'm pretty sure if Jack actually went on the ride, he would just be getting out of his seat constantly and attacking all the little robots and the holograms. Like, he would just jump out of the little cart and just tackle the robot Phantom Ghost, the Ghost Ride robot in the attic. Just tackle that and start just like, die ghost, die again. And Maddie and Danny would just be like, oh god, this is why we can't go anywhere. Which ghost characters from any media do you think would have the most fun on the ride? Danny Phantom, because for the first time he wouldn't be on call to deal with any of the ghosts because they're not real. He would just be sitting back, relaxing, like, oh, finally, ghosts that don't try to kill me. All right. And third question: what are your feelings towards the mansion holiday remodel into Nightmare Before Christmas during Halloween? I think they do that. Don't they do that for Halloween through Christmas? Yeah, I think they do that for October through. Yeah, so for 3 months. For those who don't know, if you don't, I'm surprised if you don't. But basically, what happens? What's been going on recently well, not recently. It's been going on for about, 3-4 years now. But basically what happens is that every October through December in the California Haunted Mansion, what happens is that the Haunted Mansion gets remodeled to have Nightmare Before Christmas characters. It's basically a crossover between the Haunted Mansion and Nightmare Before Christmas, where the story is that Jack and everyone from Halloween Town has crash landed into the Haunted Mansion, and they're bringing the joy of their version of Christmas to this story. And it's a refashion. It's really nice. I've seen like point of view shots. I don't actually have it at my Disneyland, but yeah, I don't have it at my Disney. I want them to bring it to my Disney because I love Nightmare Before Christmas. But it's so cool. It's so cool that you get to see like Jack and Oogie Boogie and you get to see like so many cool like new effects to this classic ride, and they still keep the heart and tradition of the ride in the ride in and of itself. So they keep a lot of original stuff in there. So I thought that was pretty cool. I still think it's pretty cool. Anyway, so thank you for those questions, Action Fan 19. Moving on now to Nicholas Harley. Moving on, his first question is, what is the Haunted Mansion about? It's a ride at Disney, and it's supposed to be like a scary ride, but it's not too scary. That's the best way. I'm not good at explaining stuff, but that's the best way I can explain it, really. Anyway. So, next question. The Eds and the neighborhood kids post-Big Picture Show find the Haunted Mansion. What happens? Okay. What would that be like? Again, it would be kind of like the Three Stooges thing, but just add the Eds and everyone else. Like, the ghost would be scared of Rolf. Like, Rolf would have his giant clam Bobo, and just like when he's scared, he would just climb into Bobo and run off. Whereas Jimmy would have a frickin' heart attack. Yeah, and Johnny, I think the ghost would actually not be scared of Rolf, but be scared of Plank. Like Johnny and Plank get separated, and some ghosts find Plank, and they're just like, those eyes, those horrible wooden eyes. If the Cankers were there, they'd be scared out of their minds and just be holding on to the Eds the whole time. Yeah, so that's what I think. So, what would happen if Stephen and third question is, what would happen if Stephen and Connie found their way to the Haunted Mansion? Although, kind of like what would be like with the Gems, but with Connie, I think she would like to be scared because this would be like a big adventure for her, going on like some kind of magical adventure with Steven. I think that would be a lot of fun. So I think that would just be a lot of fun to play around with. Anyway, moving on now to John Kelly. Thank you for those questions, by the way, Nicholas. Moving on now to John Kelly, who asks, would you like a show based on the ride, and what do you think it would be like? I think there's a lot of potential for a Haunted Mansion ride. Well, excuse me, not ride, TV show. And do it animated. I want it animated. There's so much you could, with Disney coming back with animation, obviously with Gravity Falls, Starverse, The Forces of Evil, Pen Zero, and Randy Cunningham. I think there is a lot of potential for an animated series based off the Haunted Mansion. You do that and have a lot of fun with it. Also have Alex Hirsch as a writer on the show, or at least not. He's obviously busy with Gravity Falls, but have him on the show because I think he knows how to do kids horror very well. So I think you can do that. So yeah, do that. Yeah, have that. Have an animated series, and I think what it would be about, like maybe the story. What would the story be about? I think the best way you can do the story is have like a family, or a kid has just inherited his, the Gracie Manor. He's a direct descendant of Charles Gracie, or whatever his name was in the original ride, and he's inherited the mansion, or the family's inherited the mansion, and they now live with the ghosts. No, don't make it like that. But don't make it like that stupid Nickelodeon show. Don't make it like that. If anything, I would actually have it that, because obviously Disney would say make it a family, but I would have it like maybe have like a guy in his 20s now trying to live on his own. He's just moved out of his parents' house. But he's been kicked out of college, and then he gets a message saying, "Oh, you've just inherited you're one of the last Gracies. The mansion is yours, but you're going to be having to deal with some interesting occurrences." So basically, kind of make it like kind of make it like a creepier version of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, but no one gets adopted, and make it a far more creepy story with maybe this main character learning how some of these characters died. Yeah, and most of his friends are ghosts. Yeah, all of the other supporting characters are ghosts, except what's his name, the caretaker. Make him a supporting character. He's the only other human supporting character. Anyway. So thank you for that question, John. Moving on now to your second question. What would you do to have the ride rebuilt in your backyard? Assuming you have... I don't have a backyard. I live in an apartment. So, yeah, I can't do that. Zoning laws and all that. So, third question. What would you want most to fuse the ride with? Well, we kind of already got that with the Nightmare Before Christmas fusion right there, like I talked about earlier. So, yeah. Anyway. What was I going to say? But yeah, anyway. Thank you for those questions, John. Moving on now to Christian Sager, who asks, what if Eddie Murphy's character and family, instead of going to the mansion, went to the Amityville house? They would still, it would still suck. The experience would still suck because those characters were written so bad. Sorry, I had to get some water. But anyway. But yeah, it would still be a really terrible movie, and for some reason, and I know for some reason it would be like a crossover between those characters and the Michael Bay remake of Amityville Horror. Ugh! You guys remember that? I don't. I try not to. Anyway. Second question. Could you think of an episode of The Real Ghostbusters revolving around the ride? That'd be awesome. Finally, and kudos for mentioning The Real Ghostbusters. I like that. Making it The Real Ghostbusters. I think that's I think that's pretty funny. Seeing those characters running around a version of the ride, but more with actual real ghosts. Hell yeah. Third question. Maleficent, Oogie Boogie, and Darkseid want to go try the ride. What happens? They would just be unfazed, and Oogie Boogie's already technically part of the ride for 3 months of the year, so he would just be like, "Oh man, I gotta come back here next month and go to work. Jesus." While Maleficent and Darkseid would just be like, this isn't scary at all. Yeah, so...
Having my toothbrush.
That happened. I don't know if the mic's...
Having my toothbrush.
That's my brother. I don't know if the mic's picking this up, but yeah, that's my brother. Sorry. Anyway. What was I saying? Anyway. Okay. Sorry, that completely threw me off. Anyway. What was I going to say? Next set of questions come from Alex Anayez, who asks, how would you feel about the ride how did you feel about the ride the first time you rode it? Kind of already answered this one. I felt a little apprehensive, but at the end of it I was like, oh, that was so cool! Yeah. So, yeah, kind of already answered this. Second question. Would the ride be cooler if it had actual supernatural occurrences, or not so much? Probably not so, or I'm probably going to go with the latter there. In fact, actually, side note, there's actually a Disney unofficial fan film of people actually making a point of view horror movie out of the Haunted Mansion. It's only 11 minutes long, but it's super creepy. I can't remember what it's called, but I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's not very long. It's like a little point of view